Hey there, this is Danny of Pits Peaks, and today we're going to climb the 5'9" behind me, where I can't pronounce the name of the route. But we're going to lead rope solo it, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to do it in this video. We're doing a little bit different than previous videos. So if you've watched the previous ones and you think you know, watch it again. We're doing something different. We're not going to do a continuous cache loop on this system. We're going to do pre-do our loops. We're going to suspend them off of some lockers I got right here, and if need be, a couple of these quick draws if I run out of rope. But first things first, we take the middle of our rope, do a overhand on a bite, and I'm just going to clip that back here. So I know if I get to that knot, I'm at the halfway mark. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. I found I kind of like 3 arm lengths, which is about 15 feet for me. You can go longer. And I think we're going to use a handful of quick draws. I'm going to do a cow hitch, and I'll just start with this one back here. And you can do slip knots, but I kind of like cow hitches. I'm experimenting and trying different things. And then 1, 2, 3. You definitely don't want to tie up all of your quick draws with the cache system of the rope. Otherwise, you're going to have to dump them maybe before you would want to. So we're going to use a couple, let's see, 1, 2, we're going to use a couple lockers, or just standard carabiners. You can use those too to help manage. And I'm going to have a handful of quick draws. I guess I got 1 on this hip and 1, 2, 3, 4 on this hip that I can use. 1, 2, 3 that I can use before I really have to start dumping the rope. So I'm making my way from back to front, because I want, when I dump it, I want to start in the front, dumping in the front, and making my way back. 1, 2, 3. You can get away with about 20 feet of rope or so before the grigger starts to struggle. But that is a little bit further you could fall if the grigger doesn't lock. So I kind of like keeping it a little bit shorter and just having to reach down just a little bit more often. 2, 3. And I do have a knot in the very, very end of my rope to make sure I don't miss that. That actually worked out pretty good. I got about 15 feet left. And we are going to take our rope and we're going to tie a figure 8 on a bite. I need to get a 3-action auto locker for the first bolt. This is pretty much a sport route, or is a sport route. So I'm going to use the first and second bolt as my anchor. First bolt and the second will be redundant, not equalized, but redundant. Unless I have a no hands rest, and then I'll try to add a knot just below the second bolt to make it closer to equalized. Oh, wait, nope, don't close that. So this will be our first bolt right here. This will be our second bolt, and this is what makes it redundant. I have a quick draw with a locker on one end and a quick link on the other end. I think it's a 8mm quick link, and we put the rope through that. And the idea is, if that first bolt were to blow, as I fall and the rope gets picked up, it's going to catch and get stuck in that quick draw, and sorry, that malleon, that quick link, it's going to get stuck in that, and that'll catch me. Now I will fall until the knot hits the second bolt, but ideally I'm high enough on the route that I don't deck. It hits that before I deck. I'm going to rack this rack the quick draw behind the quick link, because I want the quick link first. And let's get our grigger ready, which is what I'm using. I don't have a chest harness. I think I will actually buy one of Brent's chest harnesses with Avant climbing and experiment with that. Oh, there's my quick link. So for the grigger, I use either 8 or a 10 mil. Just kind of depends which one I find first. Don't really have much of a preference. They're both plenty strong enough. Take the rope, put it in the grigger. The anchor goes on the climber side. The spare rope goes on the hand side. And I make sure I like my grigger inverted. I wish I had the chest harness. I want to experiment with that. I finally found out why you don't use an elastic chest harness as much as a rigid one like Brent does with Avant, and that's because with elastic it can stretch when you try to pull the rope through the grigger, which kind of makes sense. I just didn't quite realize it. So we have our cache loops, several of them, no continuous, just 15 feet at a time that I can reach down and I can take one hand and I can pull the gate back and I can dump very easily. Got our quick link ready to go. Got our quick draw ready to go. Our griggery is on inverted. Let's do our buddy check. Yep, climber's end locks, or anchor end locks. So I think we're good to go. We're gonna do this. It goes at 5'9". I kind of bouldered up the first few feet. Felt pretty good to me because I don't have a stick clip, but we might back off if I get up there and feel spooked. Oh, there's a great hand. I messed up and didn't set enough slack through the griggery before setting off. All right, there we go. We got a good stance. There's our second bolt. This is why I need the triple action auto locker, because this takes a while to do. And if you're not on just a good no hand stance, this can really pump you out. Oh, good God, come on. At least it's a big beefy boy. This is like a massive quick link. All right. Everything looks super good. We are slab climbing. Probably get quiet because I'm scared. All right, there we go. Now I don't have to worry about factor 2 falling. All right, here we go. Let's try to read, look for the weaknesses in the rock. Find the little dimples, the little edges, the little crystals. Kind of hoping it's going to just start easing up now that I'm past that first section. Because of how slabby it is, I probably don't need to do back feeding knots. Alright, so I'm running out of rope. Here we go. Should have done this one move sooner. There we go, and I just dumped 15 feet of slack. Moved a little too quick. Don't have the chest harness to help out with how this thing feeds. Being very careful to make sure I clip the correct strand. And I notice a knot down there in my spare rope. Come on. Oh, whatever. Let it drag. Hopefully it doesn't become an issue. All right. No, yeah, it looks like it's definitely going to start easing up here. It's going to start getting run out too. But climbing gets easier. So we're going to take, before I get short ropes, we're going to go ahead and dump another 15 feet. Still working on it. That could be smoother. I think we're just going to cruise to the top at this point. It really felt like, it looked like the crux was right there at the beginning. Oh, yeah, I definitely need to work on stuff a little bit. I flaked this. How did this happen? Definitely flaked that. Whatever. Now it's like 5.3, 5.4 climbing. We're just going to pay attention to our cache loop. And we're coming up to the end again. Next carabiner. And this is why you want to have them in order to make sure you drop the correct one. Dropped. They're working out pretty good. I'm dropping them about every time I get to a bolt, roughly. There we go, and nice delicate footwork. Haven't had to have any back feeding knots. This angle's low enough. It's not really an issue. Ooh, got a little slick. That's all right, we're just gonna look for the weaknesses. Like I said, I just realized I should have had the lockers behind the quick draws. So I freed up the quick draws first. Instead, I freed up all the lockers before the quick draws. And I really think, as well as this feeds, I think having the chest harness to hold the grigri upright would help a ton. So that worked pretty good. Definitely need to dial that in. But I'm pretty happy. I think that's going to be my new system moving forward, with a chest harness to hold this upright. I'm starting to think that is the better way to go, because I waste less energy reaching down and trying to pull the rope through the micro traction. But we're going to pull up the end of the rope here, feed it through the rings, and then wrap down. If you watched my video before, you've seen this. Then again, I've done other climbs in this area too. If you know which climbs I've done in previous videos, leave a comment. Climb something here. So we have pulled the rope through the rings. The only thing keeping this strand from pulling up, because I am going to rappel on this strand here, the only thing keeping this strand from going through the rings is the anchor we made on the bottom. But we got our grigri on. This is locked. The grigri lockdown holds us. I'm going to give it a little bit of a test before I commit to rappelling. Seems to hold perfectly fine. And as we wrap, we're going to clean. We are down at our backup anchor on our second bolt. Easy way to clean this: unlock that carabiner, put it on the harness, and lock it down. Now we're going to rappel. Let's get this around the other way. That way it's not in our way. All right, so we got that second bolt locker draw on there. We're going to come down, down, down. Throw a knot in this. And all our weight sitting on that. And look how that's loose now. Look how there's no weight on it as long as we hug the wall. We're going to take this guy off of here. And this is what would happen if the first bolt were to blow. This would get stuck in that quick link. You definitely want a smaller quick link, not a big beefy boy like this. Lock that down a little bit so I know I don't drop it. That looks good. Let's take our backup knot out. And we are now lowering ourselves the last little bit. That knot, it's not going to go through there. It's not going to fit through there. And I'm only 10 feet off the ground, 8 feet off the ground, rappelling down. So there's that route. Climbed, cleaned, still can't pronounce the name of it. I'll put it in here somewhere. But yeah, I think I'm going to be moving towards this system now. I didn't realize or understand why it worked so well and why people used it until I saw Brent's video with Ryan on how not to, and it made a lot of sense. And looking into it, I think this is the way moving forward to be able to climb harder routes. But otherwise, we'll see you on the next one.